the tailor with him. My psychic energy strikes once again. They animated her facial expressions when you usually can't see them.
Wait.
Just completely body blocking all of this.
You can stop now.
Cutscene Riku was an absolute
It's
Chad.
alright. Shion.
He took all of that to the chest and is just staring at her, stone-faced. Giga Chad, Sigma male. Sigma male grind set. Don't bother blocking. Just sit there and eat the attacks. Don't even flinch. Jump right in now that everything is all set. Okay. Make sure I have all the keyblades I want to have on. Haven't checked what Wheel of Fate's whole deal is yet. Or have I? Yeah, I don't think I have. Abilities. Okay, so I don't have... Still just Kira and whatnot.
Wonder what's waiting up ahead.
Alright, so in this episode, I hope to get through the end of the base game. And maybe I'll do a bit of Remind content as well, but definitely getting through the base game here. Sorry I haven't streamed in like 19 days or something like that. Definitely wasn't the plan, but you know, real life stuff comes up and all that. Okay.
Sarah!
Ven!
Will this help the audio catch up?
Sarah,
I accidentally logged
we
out
found
of it.
you!
Terra, please say you're in there.
So, earlier on one of these streams I talked about how not great Dragon Ball Super's writing was. Specifically when it came to how they scaled characters. How they scaled characters. And like, basically, like their explanations
Now
for
let
why
our
certain
friend
characters
go.
were so strong. And the reason why this matters at all is because the series emphasizes how, like, astronomical of a boost in strength, Super Saiyan God is compared to, like, Super Saiyan 3. And Whis even tells Vegeta, you could, like, train your entire life, and you wouldn't be able to get to the level that
Today is the
Goku's
day
at
you all lose.
without, like, special training.
What?
Like, a godlike
Before
level
you
of ki
even
control.
face the 13.
So, they
Every last
emphasize
one
that
of you
in
will
the
be
story
torn
itself,
heart from
right? This isn't
body.
just me putting way too much importance into characters'
But
strength.
fear
Like,
not.
the series itself tells us that this is
The
important.
Keyblade will still be forged.
But then they just keep
We're
saying
not
that
gonna
random
lose to
characters
you.
are now at God strength through normal training. And it's like, guys, like, my brother in Christ, you were the one who said that normal training could never get you at God strength. Wait a minute, we got past this part already? I'm genuinely surprised. I wasn't expecting this guy to show up. I forgot we'd already gotten past that part.
Who are you?
Oh, that's funny.
Xehanort.
I completely forgot.
Terra?
I thought I was about to watch them get mollywopped and have to go through that one segment, but no, I already did that. I forgot. It's been so long since I last streamed.
For this moment.
But yeah, like, they emphasize how astronomical of a boosted strength it is and show, like, just by Beerus and Goku punching, they could accidentally destroy the universe. And then they're like, oh yeah, Android 17 has been like doing sit-ups on an island alone for 10 years, and now he's stronger than Goku was when he first became a Super Saiyan God. Also, the Universe 6 Saiyans come from a universe where the Saiyans weren't constantly like traveling through the universe conquering planets and weren't known for being a warrior race, and yet somehow in his base form, Kaba is as strong as Super Saiyan. It's as strong, like, base to base as Vegeta. Which, even if Vegeta didn't have his god power, that would be ridiculous. Because that would mean that he's, like, that would put Kaba at Buu Saga level, despite the fact that he's very explicitly stated to come from a universe where Saiyans don't have to fight that often. They didn't have to say that. Like, they were the ones who emphasized that they didn't fight that often. They were the ones who gave them these super, like, skinny, childlike looking designs to emphasize how much not strong, like, to emphasize that they weren't warriors.
Okay.
And then they were the ones who decided that they should still have the strength of the warrior Saiyans despite not being warriors. So it's like, it's not me looking too deeply into it. It's the plot telling us one thing and then showing us another. And these things are like completely contradictory to one another. I'm not even gonna try the shot locks, honestly. God help me, I'm gonna try the shot locks. Oh god. Okay, it didn't stun lock me. Okay. Alright, never gonna try the shot locks again because I know that they don't work. That's the one thing about this mod that's like, just consistently doesn't work. Otherwise, it's an amazing mod. But I don't know if there's anything they could do about the, like, the soft locking, but it's not that bad considering that Donald and Goofy can, like, go in. Also, I just hate how this guy can randomly do, like, a crap load of damage out of nowhere. It was even worse in 0.2 where in critical mode they didn't give you second chance. Huh? Huh? Oh no! Oh god, it's another one of those forms where I can't, like, attack. Okay, I can at least dodge. Oh great, I'm vulnerable for the next, like, however long. Cool. Glad I decided to check this form out, huh? Oh wow, can't even use magic, nice. Alright, I can at least dodge. I don't want to use this Keyblade anymore. I'm just gonna switch back to... Yeah, I'm gonna use this now. Oh, but yeah, like I was saying, like, they didn't have to emphasize that the Universe 6 Saiyans weren't warriors if they were gonna give them the strength of warriors anyway. That just seems like a weird contradictory thing that it's almost intentionally designed. Like, it feels like it's bad on purpose in order to make the fans debate about this type of thing. Because you're making the plot unbelievable by the standards that you set. And there's no reason to emphasize the things that you emphasize. Oh my god. I saw my door move a little bit and thought that, like, someone broke in or something. Like... Okay, apparently it was my imagination. I thought... What the heck? Okay, anyway, okay, so, like I was saying... It's like if the writer said that my house got broken into, but then didn't show anyone there when I looked over. Yeah, they emphasized all these things and then the plot showed us something else, and of course that causes a lot of contention within the fan base, because when you tell the fans, these guys aren't warriors and we explicitly made them not as strong and they didn't have to go through nearly as much as the characters in the normal universe did, people are going to believe that they're not that powerful, even when the narrative is showing them something else, because the lore behind them doesn't support it. I can't block in this form, that's right. Riku has 2 Keyblades, but doesn't think to block with either of them. Very Keyblade Master, by the way. It's cool how they got that animation to work still, though. But yeah, that's all very stupid. Here's the thing. since Universe 6 is supposed to be a twin, like, parallel of Universe 7, they could have just gave the Universe 6 Saiyans their own version of the God Ritual, and then said that, like, the Universe 6 Saiyans were training with Vados and Champa, the same way that Goku and Vegeta were training with Beerus and Whis. Like, they could have easily said that, but instead they're like, no, they're just doing normal training with a normal sensei, and they're just naturally at god-level strength, which is the dumbest thing ever. Like, if they skipped... It would be interesting if, like, in their universe, they skipped right, like, they didn't know what a normal Super Saiyan was, because they did the God Ritual and went straight to God. Or, like, when Champa... Like, when Beerus and Champa decided to have that, like, Universe 6 versus 7 tournament, like, Champa on the fly was like, oh crap, my Saiyans aren't as strong as theirs. I need to, like, do something to make them stronger. I'm gonna have them perform the God Ritual, despite the fact that they don't even know what a Super Saiyan is. That would be interesting. Like, what would it be like if a character who was way weaker than Goku and Vegeta normally suddenly got given the God Ritual despite doing none of the other training? Like, I think that's an interesting concept. They should have done that. Just like, they have the God Ritual and God Key. Okay, I can break out of this. Thank God. Thank God. I thought I was soft-locked again. I was so upset. Oh my God. But yeah, they should have done something like that. That would have, like, made things make more sense, instead of just doing the thing that made the least amount of sense, and then getting surprised when fans were incredibly unhappy about it and refused to believe that the Universe 6 Saiyans were somehow at God strength. It's just horrible writing in general. But the thing is, the fan base, even if I do think that it's stupid that they're at that level of strength, don't shoot the messenger, I guess. Because people give, like, power scalers like Seth the Programmer crap because they state the objective fact that the Universe 6 Saiyans are supposed to be at God level. Don't blame them because the writing in Super is stupid. It's not their fault. Like, that's the writer's fault for making a dumb, like, narrative. The fact that you can't believe that they're at God strength is a testament to how poorly mishandled the characters were. It has nothing to do with, like, Seth or anyone else's scaling. They're scaling it correctly, it's just that the series is poorly written. As stupid as it sounds when Seth says that Kaba is as strong as stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku, it's true. Like, he didn't make that up. The writers did. Get mad at them. Like, or maybe not get mad at them, because I don't want anyone to, like, harass anyone online, but, like, criticize them, I guess. Oh, I can't do the ball drop thing?
Sorry. You're done. Take this.
But yeah, that's basically my whole thing with this Universe 6 Saiyans and how poorly they're written. And that extends to a lot of characters in Dragon Ball Super, but the Universe 6 Saiyans are especially egregious because they go out of their way to emphasize that they're not warriors. They're not fighters, they don't even know what Super Saiyan is until the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament. They gave them, like, they made them look younger than Teen Gohan from the Cell games in order to emphasize how much weaker they were. They did everything in their power to make us look at these guys as being, like, inferior in terms of strength, and then they said, oh, but they're also God level. Like, that... Can you see why people are mad about it? And people like to go, oh, well, you're okay when Goten and Trunks did it. No, we weren't. If you look online, you will see tons of memes of people complaining about Goten and Trunks being as strong as they are, and saying that it devalues Super Saiyan as, like, a transformation that they were able to achieve it so easily. No one was okay with Goten and Trunks becoming as strong as they were. It's just that they've been around longer, so we've gotten more time to get used to how stupid the writing concerning them is. Which, by the way, Goten and Trunks are stronger, like, are as strong as Cell Games Gohan. Let that sink in. They're way younger than, they're like 4 years younger than him and haven't gone through nearly as much training, and they're just naturally as strong as him. Just let that sink in. But yeah, the writing concerning them was stupid too. It's just that, like, the writing of the Universe 6 Saiyans is, like, equally stupid. And, like, it's more fresh in our memory since it's more recent. But there's, like, a ton of memes out there about how dumb Goten and Trunks' like, power is. And again, this stuff matters when the narrative itself emphasizes how important certain things are and then shows the stuff that betrays them. But yeah, like the whole thing with Android 17 being as strong as he is also pretty stupid. As much as I like Gohan, the fact that he's able to keep up with god-level characters despite not having gone through the god ritual is dumb. It's like, why didn't they just give Gohan the god ritual? Even if he doesn't plan on being an active fighter, that's just a nice thing to have in your back pocket just in case a world-ending threat shows up and Goku's not around. Which is a thing that happens several times. So just give Gohan the god ritual. He doesn't have to go off and train with Whis and Beerus, just let him have a little bit of god power on the side if you're gonna write him like that. With Saiyan characters, they really have no excuse not to just give them the god ritual if they're gonna make them fight god-level characters, is what I'm saying. But yeah. And then yes, it's also dumb how Broly is as strong as a Super Saiyan God despite not having the ritual. But at least with him, they do this whole lore thing where it's like, he's the strongest member of a warrior race. And people didn't know about him since he wasn't really causing a ruckus. Like, people across the whole universe knew about Goku because he went to the afterlife, he went to space, like, he was everywhere doing a ton of stuff. So people, like, knew who he was and what he was about. Cause, like, if you believe anime fillers canon, he was also, like, in the underworld, fighting in, like afterlife tournaments and all that. So, like, it's at least, like, okay, Goku's well known while Broly was just on this random planet training for years. And at least Broly 1 has a design that emphasizes how powerful he is, unlike the Universe 6 Saiyans in Goten and Trunks, who look like literal children. 2, he's old, like, way older than them. He's, like, as old as Goku and has been implied to have been training his entire life. Not that that excuses him somehow being at god level despite never doing the ritual, but it's more believable. And 3, he has the whole thing of, him being considered, like, a legend amongst his already warrior race. Like, so legendary in strength that it made Frieza want to destroy their entire, like, planet. So at least he has that lore thing going for him. If the other writing around him is, like, stupid. And, like, you can somewhat, like, make characters' strength more believable by giving them a good lore explanation. Cause Hit doesn't have any sort of godly training, but he's been alive for over 1,000 years. And during that 1,000 years of time, like, it's fair to reason that he spent at least 900 of those 1,000 years, like, being an assassin and, like, training in the art of combat and, like, learning how to kill people. Like, that's pretty good lore. Like, if someone trains and fights for over 1,000 years, then yeah, they're gonna be pretty powerful. That makes sense. So just give them at least a good lore explanation or something. Like, there are a lot of things they could be doing to explain why characters are as strong as they are, and they just don't bother. It's just like, if they want to make the Universe 6 Saiyans god level, give them their own god ritual, since they're supposed to be parallels to the Universe 7 Saiyans. If they can also go Super Saiyan, they can also have a god ritual. And Champa would have no reason not to show them how to do that ritual if he wants to defeat Beerus's Universe 7 Saiyans. Like, he needs his guys to be able to rival their guys, so why would he not show them the ritual and let them obtain that level of strength? And then they could still, like, have the whole thing where it's like, okay, well, I did years of training before I did the god ritual, so I'm still stronger than you. So the scene in the anime could still go basically the same way that it did, just with better lore justifications for why these characters are that strong. But yeah. Just completely unbothered. Absolutely unbothered. Does this part work? Okay, it does, thank God. I thought it was somehow not gonna work because its animations weren't gonna queue up or something, but no, it's going. Thank God. Crystal, Sam, and Magnus, Lighter, Lucian, Eteria, Alex, Felis, Chris, Sad, Nugget, Sam again. How many guys named Sam are there here? Fact, Nail, Megachan, Bahil, Shayna, Durr, Ale, Arthur, Elf, Matt, Egg, Tony, Crystal, Pete, Curb, Jagus, S. Hammond, Iceberg, Jimmy, Dea, Derek, Hunter P, Chaos. Chaos? Yo, Riku Dab? Oh, but yeah, that's basically the whole spiel I wanted to go on about. How bad Dragon Ball Super's writing is, and how it's not the Power Scaler's fault for pointing out things that are objectively true just because they sound stupid. Like, I'm sure if Seth and the other Power Scalers had the chance to write Super themselves, they would implicate, like, either A, not make those characters that strong, or B, give a better reason for why they're that strong. So yeah, don't give them a hard time because they're pointing out the dumb things that are true. I know how stupid it sounds to have these characters be that strong, and so do they, but yeah. Oh, we are Undertale Gaming. Light, Zero, Sleepy XX Coec. Oh, Zero, speaking of that, someone made a Mega Man, like, a Zero and Mega Man Z, like, version of Zero, mod for Riku. And it looks pretty good. And it also gives me an opportunity to complain about, Mega Man Zero's twink design that they went with for some godforsaken reason. Oh! Oh! I was not expecting his arms to just, like, teleport into place like that. It's amazing how they got Riku's animations to work with this part. Modding's come such a long way in such a short time. I know I keep saying that, but it's, like, really remarkable. Anyway, I need to take a drink of water.
Sora! Are you okay? Yeah.
Yes,
was
Kai
that?
Riku and
Keyblade wielders.
other Riku.
From long ago.
It's the light of the past.
Yeah, you should know something about that, shouldn't you? Hopefully my audio levels are good. Oh, another Riku joins the party. Nice.
Just send out the big bad.
As if there weren't enough of him. Also, there's Yellow-Eyed Riku, Blue-Eyed Riku, Green-Eyed Riku.
The organization's been using hearts.
We got all the eye colors
One
here, too.
Xehanort got to in the past and has influence over. So, that
Let
must
me
be you
move
from
my
when
mic a
Ansem
bit
had control
closer
of your
so
heart.
that I come through a bit clearer.
Yeah. How could I forget?
Yeah, I know, Mickey. I was
I'd
there.
say that was our finest hour. Wrong. My hour of weakness. You sure? How about we find out?
And again, I feel like there should have been a mini fight with Riku. Even though he'd kind of get stomped with all of us here, but
A real test.
there's
for the
no
mark of
reason
mastery.
why
What did you say?
all of us here wouldn't be able to
We gotta
absolutely
make sure
bully him
you're
if they
not
jumped him.
blundering your way toward a second failure.
Also, he says second here. Wait a minute. You think young Riku has no idea what he's talking
Blundering?
about when he says second?
And I'll have you know we failed with style, Chief.
Yeah, they just go ahead
least you
and
admit
never
Well, if your
clarify
guardians
what
think
this
you brought
means.
the goods, you'll have to prove it to the old guy one last time.
Also, kind of weird how Riku just has a Xehanort stand here.
Take it away.
Stand name, Forze de Male. Stand user, Dark Riku. Oh, what was I going on about? I was complaining. Wait a minute, I just realized. Older Riku and younger Riku swapped Keyblades. Usually in gameplay, younger Riku has Oblivion, and older Riku has Braveheart, but now they switched. It was like that moment in in-game.
This isn't good.
Oh yeah, and Kairi has freaking Weight of Dawn. I love how they keep emphasizing dangerous situations using the normal Heartless. Like normal shadows. Not even Neo shadows, just like dudes. Why did they pick the little fellas for scenes like this? How am I supposed to take that guy seriously? Maybe it's saved on like memory or whatever to use their like very simplistic low poly models than something more complex like a Neo shadow. Just at least
Try
throw in
to
like a
use time
dark
magic
side or two
against these numbers. You won't have
to make
enough
it feel
strength
like
for the
more
final
dangerous
battle.
and intimidating. Like, their over-reliance on shadows in this game is a bit weird. Also, Riku's psychic presence being able to destroy them once again. His psychic abilities have surpassed everything else in this universe.
I'll try and break through. Everyone, get ready.
Alone? That's crazy. I'll help.
Aqua was about to just man-mode this.
Two is no better.
Yeah. Splitting up's a bad idea.
Character and gameplay versus character and cutscene.
Too many.
One Firaga would split up, like, hole through you guys. But I guess we're all out of MP or something. And then this part. Okay, they had a few other... They at least had a few, like, Dusk here. Even though they're not much better than Shadows, but yeah, you know. Man, Dark Riku really just wasted his ultimate ability there, huh? Imagine if he whipped this out during our fight with him and Zigbar.
I will hold them all here for as long as I can.
We're not gonna leave you behind.
Yes, we are. Starlight S. Wait, did skipping that skip the scene that comes after this? Because I kind of wanted to watch that one. Oh, second form S. I read it as Starlight S for some reason. Oh yeah, Mega Man Zero. So, the original Mega Man art style was very, like, cutesy and cartoonish, which was great for the types of stories they were telling. And then X went more into, like, the, like, teen, young adult anime art style, which again worked well for the designs and characters they were going on with. The humanoid robot characters really looked like humanoid robots, which was further emphasized by the fact that we never saw X and Zero take their helmets off, and, like, there was blood in the original Mega Man X, but for the most part, when characters were, like, in some way amputated or cut in half, we'd see more robotic parts than, like, blood. Again, X4 cutscene shows a lot of blood, but in gameplay, usually, they seem more robotic, their footsteps make, like, metal clanking noises, their machinery is all round and clunky, and, like, bulky looking. Like, they really do look like armored robots, armored humanoid robots, and not just, like, dudes wearing armor, which is great. And for the Mega Man ZX series, they do look like dudes wearing armor with their more, like, chibi, cutesy designs, which works well, because in Mega Man ZX, they actually are just human beings, like young adults in robot armor. So that works for that franchise. But I take issue with the Mega Man Zero franchise having that same art style, because it does not work at all. The Mega Man Zero series' tone is darker than the Mega Man series has ever had. At one point, you have these little things called fairies that, like, die in order for you to get a power-up. Like, they just have these cutesy little there's a whole species, basically, who just, called Cyber Elves, who just die in order to give you a power-up. So that's the tone we're going with, and the world is, like, constantly at war and, like, on the verge of collapse in Mega Man Zero. And yet they have, like, the cutesiest art style they've ever had. And freaking... what's his name? Oh, what's his name? The guy behind the Mega Man series. The guy who, the person behind Bayonetta said was more of a businessman than a game designer. That guy explicitly stated
and leave our mark on fate.
that, oh, by the way, KH1 Riku was here again. Explicitly stated that he, Zero wasn't, like, his design is supposed to be the exact same. His appearance didn't change, the design did. Or, like, the art style did. He's supposed to look the exact same canonically. Which is stupid, because if you want to see what a character who looks the exact same but is drawn in a different art style looks like, look at the way Mega Man 1-0 is drawn in the original Mega Man X art style versus how he's drawn in the Maverick Hunter X art style. That's a good example of the exact same character design in two different art styles. One of them is a more old-fashioned anime aesthetic, and the other is a more modernized anime look. But they're both very clearly the same character. In Mega Man Zero, he's straight up wearing a different outfit. It's not just that, like, his proportions look different, but he's like, in Teppen is a good example. Because in Teppen, it's a new art style, but Zero's design has the same, like, fundamental parts to it. Like, his leg joints look different, and stuff like that, but ultimately it's the same design. In Mega Man Zero, he just looks like some random, like, chibi kawaii twink in a suit of armor, when he's supposed to be the exact same Zero that we know from the series, which does not work. He just looks like a guy wearing an outfit, when he's supposed to be a machine, or like a robot, with humanoid features. Like, he doesn't look like a robot anymore.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about Zero was his design. So for them to, like, get rid of that design in place of, in my opinion, a far inferior one, at least for the character of Zero, is so confusing. Why would you make a whole series about Zero and then make him look so different that we don't even feel like we're playing as Zero? Also, why would you pick such a cutesy art style where everyone has the face of a 12-year-old? Like, everyone has this, like, big, like, huge eyes and, like, tiny mouth and nose. Like, all these cutesy features. If it's supposed to be the most dire, like, bloody entry in the series, like, every enemy you hit with your Z-Saber bleeds. Even the, like, the non-humanoid enemies bleed when you hit them. So it's supposed to be the darkest series with the most blood, and yet you gave it, like, the cutesiest art style. And made everyone look, like, super, like... It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I have issue with the design philosophy of the Mega Man Zero series. But in Mega Man ZX, it works perfectly well there, because the tone is much lighter. It's like... Honestly, the tone of the Mega Man ZX series feels like it's somewhere, like... Honestly, a little less dire than the Mega Man X series' tone. So the more cutesy designs work so much better. And, like, the fact that you just look like a guy in a suit of armor makes sense, because in that series you are just playing as someone in a suit of armor. Like, it's just so much better in terms of, like, that aesthetic working more. Inafune, that's his name. Yeah, I hate the artistic direction that Inafune made for that. Because I guess he has this whole philosophy about not being a type of guy who does the same thing twice. Which means that the new design has to look totally different. Even if it doesn't work as well for the type of story you're making. What is the point of making your character, who's supposed to look the exact same canonically, look so much different? Like, part of what people liked about Zero's is his design. Why would you... whatever. Oh, domed. Oh, dude. Heartless flip. Epic. Oh, wait, he didn't do the full flip. Never mind. I retract my epic. Okay, let me freeze time real quick. Wait a minute, I should have stayed. Oh, shit. Crap. Whatever, by the time I'm done spawning these enemies, I'll get my MP back and I can just do that again. Oh, where are they? Oh, there they are. So you know what the deal is. Time for some free XP. But yeah, I just don't like the new designs for Mega Man Zero, considering the tone of the story. But I think the new design philosophy works so much better in the Mega Man ZX series. So ultimately, I'm glad that that art style exists, and I think that the artist who makes the artwork for the Mega Man Zero series is a good artist. I just, I like their art style more when it's in a universe, or in a story that complements their artistic direction more, I guess. Also, Zero's voice being so deep still, despite him looking way younger, is super awkward. Also, are we ever gonna figure out what happened to the original Mega Man in the X universe? Okay, I'm starting to experience slowdown. I think the game's gonna crash if I don't, like... Okay, King's Flare. Oh god, I don't want the game to crash. Oh boy. Oh, hopefully this kills a bunch of them. Because otherwise, I may have screwed myself here. That killed a sizable amount. Not enough, not nearly enough. I didn't even level up once from that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is bad. I'm starting to regret several of my life decisions. First and foremost, being born. Dark Divide, let's go. Oh god. Hopefully that killed a bunch of them. No, not even a few? Cool. Oh god. Okay. The Riku Super PC Destroying Adventure. I'm just trying to grind for experience here in the quickest way possible. I may have gone too far in a couple places. Oh, Star Wars trilogies. That's the next thing I can rant about. I might make a whole separate channel that's just dedicated to these little rants I go on, but in like a more edited format. I saw a comment on Twitter that was like, if you say you like the prequels more than the new trilogy, I can't take you seriously. Which, okay, so the prequels are bad. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say that they're like actually secretly good movies. I will like readily admit that they are bad, that they're like bad. But in terms of what works more as a cohesive trilogy of films, the sequels, the prequels work more. Like, they actually have a cohesive story that they're trying. As dumb as a lot of the plot decisions they make are, like, they have a cohesive story that they're trying to tell, and they actually tell it. There's no, like, in the new trilogy, there's a constant back and forth between creative visions and what's, like, supposed to be done, and they constantly are, like, wishy-washy and going back and forth on that. Part 1, the first movie sets up Rey having a mysterious origin. The second movie completely negates that, and then the third movie doubles down on the whole Rey's origins thing. There was no clear vision for how this trilogy was supposed to go, and the creative vision of it just flip-flops so wildly from part to part, from movie to movie. It's not a cohesive trilogy that tells a cohesive story. And even people who love The Last Jedi will readily admit that, because it didn't do what they wanted to do. And it didn't do what anyone wanted it to do. It was satisfying to, like, 0 people. And the plot didn't really make sense once you, like, start to scrutinize it. As bad as the prequels are, they at least work as a cohesive trilogy. Part 1, introduce us to the old Jedi Order and Anakin Skywalker's origins. Part 2, show us, introduce us to the Clone War, like the whole concept of the Clone Wars, and what Anakin was like on the Jedi Order with Obi-Wan. Part 3, show his, like, descent into the, like, full descent into the dark side. Did it do those things well? That depends on a lot of things. But did it have a cohesive vision and actually, like, fulfill what that vision was? Yeah. I can, like, see what they were going for with the prequels, and they actually, like, did it. Whereas with the new trilogy, it's like, they didn't... I don't know what they were trying to do because they didn't even know. They wanted to, like, set up something, a cool-sounding mystery without knowing what the heck the answer to that mystery was going to be. And then the next guy who came in wanted to do something, like, subversive with it, when that clearly wasn't the vision of what was originally going to be done at all. So there was a plan with no, like, there was a mystery set up with no actual plan for where it was going. And then a guy who came in and said, never mind, there's no mystery. And then going into part 3, it was like, okay, the third part could be about literally anything. Which a lot of people were excited about, but, like, that also makes it so that the second movie's whole thing was tearing down the foundation of what we thought the first was going to be setting up the trilogy to be. So now the conclusion is going to be God knows what. And, oh my god, I can't believe I let that guy hit me in slow motion. But yeah, it's just not a good, cohesive story with a, like, creative vision. Also, the environments and the aliens that you see in the new Star Wars trilogy aren't as creative as they So, yeah. If you say you like the prequels more than the new trilogy, I can take you seriously, actually. I would rather watch, what's it called? Revenge of the Sith any day than watch The Rise of Skywalker. Like, seriously. Oh yeah, and the second movie is all about Anakin falling in love with Padme, and them forming a relationship, which would turn out to be extremely important in the third movie. So, even if the romance itself was done, like, the dialogue sucks, at least they set up a thing in the second movie that ended up being important in the third. Does this mean that the prequels are good? No! It just means that the new trilogy is laughably bad, to the point where it can't even do the bare, like, the prequels do the bare minimum, in terms of what a prequel series and a trilogy should do. Performing the bare minimum doesn't mean that you're good, but the fact that the new trilogy doesn't even do the bare minimum makes it, like, laughably poorly made. Like, poorly conceived. So, yeah. But that's the thing I just wanted to rant about, because I've been thinking about that a lot. So yeah, final conclusion, the prequels are in fact bad, but they performed the bare minimum, while the sequel trilogy couldn't even do that. And had, like, the worst conclusion out of any, of the trilogies. Didn't satisfy anybody, besides people who were purely spiteful towards people who like The Last Jedi. Crap! Oh, darn it, I wanted to beat more of those guys. Whatever, I think I'm leveled up enough for this next segment. I should have just done... Actually, if I went King's Flare, it would have gotten me a bit more EXP, but it wouldn't have mattered too much in long run. But yeah. There's my Star Wars rant.
I'd better get ready.
I can now wear my Star Wars Opinion Haver t-shirt. You think if I had merch, and I made a Star Wars Opinion Haver, like, really did make a Star Wars Opinion Haver t-shirt, but, like, I censored the word Star Wars, you think I could get away with that? Asking for a friend, who looks and sounds exactly like me. You know what? Ah, screw these new Keyblades. I'm gonna just level up the ones I have already. Level 49 is close. Actually, level 50 is when we unlock the final abilities. Whatever abilities we haven't unlocked already will be unlocked at level 50. Arrow boost, thunder boost, a lot of stuff I don't really... Who's MP cosplayer? That's neat. Oh my god, our what's it called? AP got boosted a lot by that. That's great. Okay. Dude, I can finally afford those air slides. Okay. Cool. I was scared that the game was about to crash for a second. I can afford these now. Power band, sure. Skill ring. There was a lot of good equipment that I wasn't checking out. Jeez. Thank you, 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 I know. Okay, Braveheart. So I want to boost Braveheart and Oblivion. Never mind. I want to boost Braveheart and that's it, I guess. Yeah, I can't even boost Way to Dawn. Okay. What the heck was I doing? Oh, okay, yeah. Strength boost. And new equipment. The power band actually does not help that much. I mean, it'll boost defense here. Maybe that's something I should give to Goofy. Oh, wait. Boost my magic, but... Oh yeah, that's something I should give to Donald. Okay. Now I'll save one more time and then I'll end things. Well, I'll, go through the end game. Wait. Well, might as well.
Oh, I guess I need to get through the door before it closes.
No! Okay, thank God. I thought I was actually gonna fail that even with my, like, base boosted air dash. Oh, now he has, Oblivion, nice. Now come in with Braveheart. Every era of Riku weapon, represented here.
Riku!
Sora! I will be your
Get this non-Riku out of here. Ansem is technically what Riku would look like as an adult, so he can stay. Or well, he's what Riku would look like as a Norded adult. Kind of like how Zinus is apparently what Terrell would look like Norded in his 30s. So yeah, if you wanted to know what Norded 30-year-old Riku would look like.
Wait! Ansem! Where are you going?
Normal kick. I guess I tossed him Braveheart. Like, here! Quick, defend yourself. My psychic energy is unparalleled. Alright. First things first, get the non-Riku out of the way.
Hey, let's speed it up. Keep the line moving. Oh yeah.
I love how I just block those with my hand because the shield doesn't come out. That's so raw. Not as raw as blocking it with my freaking aura. Or like my presence. Oh my god, I'm shredding him to death. I didn't need to level up more in preparation as it would turn out.
Listen.
Okay, okay, maybe I did need to level up just a bit.
Out of my way!
Force push him real quick.
Take this!
I'm gonna beat this guy before I even have to heal. Yeah.
This is your power.
Oh my god. Didn't realize level 49 would shred him this hard. Wait a minute. Dual wield Braveheart. I guess it depends on whether or not he's in cutscene mode or gameplay mode.
Figures.
Which the cool thing about this game is that they
If I
can
had a
swap between...
Keyblade, it'd
The
be different.
difference between those two modes is way less noticeable. Unless you have
you're
a mod
actually
like this
worthy to use
installed.
one.
Oh. I am
Him being this
worthy.
powerful, I mean, I put him pretty low ranked on my list of organization
mean?
members, but him even being strong enough to be an organization member with no Keyblade is
The old
extremely
coot
impressive,
promised to bequeath me
considering how,
his.
like, downright
Why
helpless
else
a
do you
lot of
think I would ever put up with all
characters in the
his
series
nonsense?
are without their Keyblades.
It'd be wasted on you.
Exceptions being, like,
As
that time
if.
Riku took down Shion with no Keyblade. And without the use of Soul Eater. And that other time, Aqua tried kicking Ansem. Just straight up kicking him. But besides those two exceptions, it's crazy that he's this strong with no Keyblade. It does kind of make you wonder what he'd be capable of with one. Also, again, very interesting that his weapon is called, are called the arrow guns. And that's also the name of Sora's,
I'm unstoppable!
like, one of Sora's Keyblade transformations.
Later! Come on! Is that all you got? Is that all you got?
I love it when we use the same quote.
Get a load of this! You like it? Sorry.
Get him! I love the freaking Gaze Blade Charge.
Is that all you got?
Watching people play Birth by Sleep is hilarious because, like, they'll use Blade Charge, get this massive sword, and then use it to, like,
Fast!
cast, magic. So Blade Charge is basically just used as a shotgun. Oh, I want to give other Riku a chance. I'm crack at it.
Is that all you got? You like it? But why?
Time for another Ultimate Riku collab.
You're not real. Huh? I'm the real one. Aren't you my past self? From when Ansem possessed me? Oh. No. You beat Ansem and you're still here. This guy is me.
So it's the same type of stand as Way to Dawn. Or I guess it's the same type of stand as the Force within you. By the way, that plot point was very well foreshadowed and not a complete,
I knew
like,
it.
pull out of nowhere.
It's a replica.
I mean that seriously, though.
A
Like,
soon-to-be empty vessel. I've been waiting for a chance like this.
I could go more into that, but that would require going into, like, full JoJo spoilers discussion. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the JoJo spoiler thing.
Hey! What are you doing? Take the vessel!
No.
It's just crazy, like,
The world already has you.
when people
There's
can
someone
accept,
else
like,
who needs the
something
replica
that's
more.
foreshadowed from the beginning,
You know who I
and
mean.
can't accept a thing that gets introduced halfway through the... Like, that's very vague conception.
You're
Whatever.
saving her.
I'll talk more about it when it becomes relevant.
Good luck.
I cannot emphasize enough how hard they pop off at the end of the game. If the whole thing was like this, it would have, like... If the whole thing was like this, I think everyone would be pleased with it.
Is that a replica for Naminé?
But alas, the pacing was kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Wish we could help her now. But first,
I know.
I'm going after Ansem.
Okay. I'll go help the others.
Okay. Heal so I can get my MP back. Oh, huh. How'd I not notice that? This is like my first time ever noticing that that was there. Huh. Interesting. Not that I'll need it. I've always overlooked that treasure chest. Is this cutscene like the exact same as it usually is? Think so?
Your Majesty!
Yeah, I think this part's the exact same. It doesn't really matter how much damage you go with these guys.
Settle down! Is that all you got? Time's up! Just for you!
I'm just gonna bully him in the meantime until the gang decides to progress.
Settle down! Take this!
This guy used to be final boss level. I've never seen someone fall off so hard.
Zemnis!
Exactly what I needed.
Oh, okay. Here's a somewhat spoiler. Okay, so if you haven't watched... So, spoilers for the first 12 episodes of Part 6. I will only talk about spoilers for those episodes. I don't want to spoil anything past that. Friggin... Okay, let's talk about a good scene. Okay, so, like, a lot of people chalk up the complaints that people have about Part 6 to people not liking that the character Jotaro was made more vulnerable. I think it's fine to have a normally strong character be vulnerable if it's done well. And a good example of Jotaro being vulnerable being done well was Part 4. They had a very similar setup to the Whitesnake encounter. They just did it way better.
It's more fun when you beat the odds. Live dangerously, Sora.
Stop! Please! Please! No! Lock onto the right thing! Oh, come on!
Let's start over.
Oh, that rarely happens to me, but when it does, man.
What's the matter?
Please! Please! I like this mod. A little annoyed how Riku takes a step back before he attacks sometimes.
Live dangerously.
Okay, shoot him to death point blank. So basically, the Killer Queen sheer heart attack fight. It's a situation where, like, Jotaro was caught completely off guard. He thought he was just going to a tailor to check something out, to check out a clue. He didn't know that his enemy would literally be right there inside of the tailor with him. My psychic energy strikes once again.
A wild card. You've earned it.
I cannot cross my legs in this tiny desk.
Hang on to it.
Well, not that the desk is tiny, just that, like, not much space down here.
Could turn the tables.
But,
Play again someday.
yeah, so, like,
When we're just
Jotaro,
guys.
completely caught off guard, doesn't know how the enemy's ability works at all.
I should like that
Wasn't
very
expecting the
much,
enemy to be
Sora.
there. Was completely caught off guard, and had someone there who he had to protect. And his time, okay, spoilers in general for JoJo's. Just, if you don't want a Part 3 spoiler, then here's your warning for that. Jotaro's time stop ability was less than 2 seconds. It starts off in Part 4 as half a second, and by the end, it's 2 seconds. Right? So, this is about halfway through Part 4, so his time stop should be somewhere between half a second and 2 seconds. Maybe it's like 1 second or so. But yeah, he only has, like, less than 2 seconds worth of stopped time. He has someone else to worry about there. He was completely caught off guard by the other, by the stand user. Just suddenly appearing when he thought that they weren't even gonna be there. Didn't even know that he was about to get attacked. And he still handles himself better than he does in Part 6 in a similar scenario. In Part 4, Koichi isn't as nearly as powerful and competent as the stand is, like, Reverb, or Echoes, isn't as powerful as Jolene's Stone Free. And at this point in the story, Koichi isn't as competent or reliable as he is, as Jolene already is. Of course, Koichi becomes more competent and reliable later on, but at this point in the story, he's still pretty, like, immature. So he has to deal with, like, having another stand user there who he has to protect, who isn't as reliable. So, at one point, Sheer Heart Attack lunges at Koichi, and because Koichi was being, like, really stubborn, and, like, got rubbed the wrong way by something Jotaro said, because, again, like, this scene is emphasizing how, like, immature Koichi still is with his ability, and this is, like, a moment of personal growth for him. He sent off his stand 50 meters away to go chase the killer, instead of having it nearby to defend himself.
Could be worse.
So he couldn't protect himself, so Jotaro had to stop time, and he figured out how the enemy's ability worked, and in his less than 2 seconds of stop time, manages to gather resources, manages to gather up some wood and start a fire, in order to attract the enemy's stand to him and draw it away from Koichi. So again, he's jeopardizing his own safety in order to, like, help a, like, far less powerful character. Also, by the way, people say Sheer Heart Attack is invincible, but while Jotaro's fists were bleeding from how much he punched it, he had done noticeable damage to Sheer Heart Attack. Like, you could see you could see like cracks and bleeding coming from sheer heart attack, meaning that Star Platinum was doing damage to it, even if it wasn't like that hurt. Like, even if its durability is extremely high, Star Platinum was doing damage to it. But anyway, he had to put himself in direct harm's way in order to protect Koichi, and he did it in a really smart way that made good uses. Okay, stop that. That made really good use of his time stop ability. He didn't like freeze time to just sit there like a doofus. He actually like did something useful. So he does that, and then when Sheer Heart Attack charges at him, he actually tries to lunge out of the way before Sheer Heart Attack can explode, but Sheer Heart Attack detonates early because of the fire. And even with it exploding before Jotaro expected it to, he still had, like, the wherewithal and reflexes to call out Star Platinum to defend himself so that he wouldn't be completely blown to bits.
Is that a real laugh?
So in that scenario, despite Jotaro being so powerful and being competent, he was still made vulnerable. And for the rest of the fight, Koichi has to, like, drag around Jotaro's unconscious body and keep him from dying. Because of the mistake he made earlier. So,
my purpose.
Because of, what am I?
Thanks to you.
Yeah, it's a scenario in which Jotaro is more vulnerable than he ever has been in the series. And it works really well, because it takes into account everything we know about this character and how his abilities work. So that exact same setup was done really well in Part 4, but in Part 6, with the White Snake encounter,
Sora, I'll go after
several
Xemnas,
things are
while
wrong.
You go find the others.
Jotaro's time stop is extended from what it was in Part 4 during that Sheer Heart Attack encounter. So he has more frozen time at his disposal. He has, what's it called? Like, more frozen time at his disposal. Unlike with the Sheer Heart Attack situation. They even got his running animation here. That's funny. Unlike the Sheer Heart Attack situation, he knew he was being attacked by enemy stand users.
For the doors.
Yeah, he knew that he was, like, in the middle of a fight. And that he could get attacked at any moment. He had several advantages that he didn't have in the Sheer Heart Attack situation and performs worse. Because Jolene was ready to be attacked by John Gallier and his bullets. She even had, when Jotaro had frozen time, she had her stand out. It wasn't like Koichi, who sent his stand off and left himself vulnerable like an idiot. Jolene, being way stronger and more competent than Koichi was, like, was actually prepared in that moment. Gosh darn it, I always screw this part up. And then I do this and then hit green? Did I do it? No, I had to hit blue. Oh wait, I didn't hit blue. Oh no, I did it. Okay. Cool. Whilst half paying attention too. Yeah, so Jotaro has, like, Jolene is way more strong and capable. Jotaro has experience with powerful long-range stands like Stonefree, so he should know that she's capable. We see earlier that Jotaro punched Stonefree in the face so hard that she went flying into a into a wall. So he's willing to, like, let her fall into harm's way if it ultimately ensures their survival. He's not so overprotective that he refuses to see his daughter get hurt. He's willing to directly hurt her himself if it means, like, securing some sort of tactical advantage. So he's, like, a few things get established by that. He should have a basic idea of Stonefree's durability, how tough Jolene is, even if he didn't see her because of the weird dream situation. Yeah. Like, he's willing to let her get into a little bit of harm's way, and all that. And he knows he's getting attacked already. So he sees Whitesnake show up behind him, and he sees John Gallier in front shooting at Jolene. Jolene already has Stonefree out, and we see in the scene right after this that Jolene would have been able to deflect those bullets because we literally see her deflect those bullets. If she knows she's getting shot at, then Stonefree has the power and speed to deflect normal bullets. She wasn't in any danger there. And Jotaro isn't overprotective enough to refuse to let her be in any harm's way because we've seen her directly put her, seen him directly put her in harm's way before.
You will release my friend's heart.
Alright, time to bully Vanitas.
Is that all you got?
It's Vanitas bullying time.
Sorry.
How did none of those hit
All
him?
you got?
Sorry.
Good job, Vin. Held him still while I transformed. Stop that! Stop! Stop! You're not allowed to team up on me. I can only do that to you. But yeah, several things wrong already. Whitesnake shows up right behind Jotaro. Jotaro sees Whitesnake and knows that he's there, alright? So he's not caught off guard by Whitesnake. He knows he's right there when he freezes time. And in this frozen time, despite having like 2 whole seconds, way more than he had in part 4 during the sheer heart attack encounter, he uses his time stop way worse. So he knows Whitesnake is right behind him. For some reason, instead of letting Jolene fend for herself, he lunges out of his way to keep her from getting hit by these normal bullets that Stonefree should be able to deflect, or is able to deflect. And that's how he uses his frozen time. He doesn't just let Jolene handle herself while he attacks Whitesnake. He identifies that Whitesnake is one of the enemy stand users, and identifies that, like, he's a direct threat, and that he's their target. And he just, like, allows himself to get attacked, because the plot needed him. Oh my god! Transform! Jesus! How did I get stun locked by that? That was so frustrating. Holy crap, dude. That was really frustrating. Alright, this is why we bully Vanitas. Jesus. He deserves it. Absolutely. Oh, okay, anyway, yeah. A lot of things wrong with the scene. Whitesnake shows up right behind Jotaro. He knows that Whitesnake is behind him. Jotaro lunges at Jolene while time is still frozen. So Whitesnake is in the same position while Jotaro is lunging at Jolene. Jolene is a few feet away. Jotaro's here, Whitesnake is here, Jolene's here.
Face.
Jotaro lunges over to her while time is frozen. So while time resumes, Whitesnake should still be over here. Star Platinum deflects the bullets the instant that time resumes. And then, Whitesnake is magically just right behind Jotaro again, even though he somehow, in the brief time that Star Platinum deflected Star Platinum, which is faster than any other stand and can move at the speed of light, in the time that it took Star Platinum to deflect the bullets, Whitesnake has already closed the distance between the two of them.
Because I am darkness.
And despite everything we've seen about Star Platinum's speed in this series,
the shadow that you cast.
he, like, Jotaro knows Whitesnake is behind him, and we even get, in both the anime and the manga, we see a shot of, Jotaro reacting to Whitesnake being right behind him.
Apart, nice and neat.
Star Platinum, despite having the speed to, like, be indulge stand in a draw, despite being able to catch bullets in point-blank range, despite everything we've seen, despite being able to mollywop Killer Queen with only with half dead in the grave. And by the way, he said that like Killer Queen,
what you are is darkness?
Killer Queen's user says that it's as if the stand froze time, but in the anime,
What I am is
like the anime doesn't play the time freeze sound effect, implying that he didn't actually freeze time, he was just way faster than Killer Queen. Which is backed up later in the series when Josuke also comments that Killer Queen is, like, slower than Crazy Diamond. And Crazy Diamond and, Star Platinum have relative speed. So he didn't even need to freeze time in order to, like, put the beat down on Killer Queen. So despite all of these insane speed feats we've seen for Star Platinum, they aren't fast enough to react to Whitesnake being behind Jotaro, even though Jotaro knew that Whitesnake was behind him and targeting him beforehand, and, like, had time to react to Whitesnake being right behind him.
Break him.
You see, are you starting to see now why I don't really care for this scene and why it doesn't make nearly, like, it doesn't make any sense given what we know about how Jotaro's capabilities and how Star Platinum works? So many liberties need to be taken in order for this scene to make any sense. Like, Jotaro just has to drink a whole glass of Dumbo juice, and Star Platinum's speed has to be majorly nerfed in order for this setup to work the way it does. Meanwhile, we saw the same exact setup performed much better back in Part 4. So, like, what gives? The writing took a nosedive in terms of quality for that moment, because the plot needed Jotaro to get his stand stolen there. And that's what makes it worse. Like, it would be one thing if this inconsistent moment was just, like, ultimately inconsequential in the grand scheme of the story. But it's not inconsequential. It's the setup for, like, Jolene's major motivation moving into the next part of the motivation moving into the next arc of the story. It involves one of the most important characters in the franchise. So this moment being this poorly conceived and badly written is, like, honestly inexcusable. I don't like where that chain went. Okay. Honestly inexcusable. No one's there. Oh, why didn't you steal his stand disc? You were right behind him. Oh, but yeah.
You'll never be able to break these chains. They're our bonds.
But yeah, like, it just... Everything we know about this character and the way his powers works, like, he has to get just majorly nerfed. And fans have made up their own explanations as, like, no official source has insisted that Jotaro or Star Platinum have been actually nerfed in Part 6. Like, his stand stats say that his stand stats haven't decreased at all. The only stat that's decreased is development, but that's because Star Platinum already reached its full potential by learning the ability to stop time. Like, JoJo fans often do this thing where they make up stuff to make the plot seem more consistent, but it's honestly just headcanon, because the official material doesn't support that at all. It's just sloppy writing. And that's not to say Part 6 is bad. Like, the moment immediately after Jotaro gets, has to drink a glass of dummy juice, we get this great moment where Jolene outsmarts John Gallier in a really creative way, and then we get a really emotionally resonant moment between Jolene and Jotaro. This moment would have worked so much better if Jolene was actually in real danger before, and Jotaro actually had to put himself in harm's way. Like, actually needed to put himself in harm's way to save her. Like, let's say that she didn't just have ample time. She saw John Gallier at the end of the hall, had time to pull out her stand, and saw the bullets coming at her, and could have deflected them, because we know Stone Free's speed and reaction time. Jotaro was willing to, like, put her in harm's way before. But if it was a situation where she was in direct danger, like,
I will return to this
like, Jotaro had to put himself in harm's way for her.
And protect
like, she was going to die otherwise. Then that moment, like, it was more, like, well-written, better conceived. Like, the moment with, Riku, you missed. Oh, never mind, he hit him. If it was a better written moment, then the emotional scene that Jotaro and Jolene share afterwards would hit a lot harder. The moment by it on its own, even with the sloppy writing, is still, like, impactful. But imagine how much better it would have been if the writing surrounding it was, like, more refined. So yeah, just... Also, I hate... Okay, real quick, tangent on the Kingdom Hearts stuff. I hate when people put the blame on the character who gets manipulated more than they put the blame on the character doing the manipulation. Like, yeah, Terra did some dumb stuff in Birth by Sleep that led to, like, bad things happening, but, like, ultimately the person who put all that in motion is Master Xehanort. Like, I feel like we should ultimately blame him instead of blaming Terra for quote-unquote being stupid. Even though, like, it meant a lot to Terra to have, like, a Keyblade master validating him when he felt like his own master wasn't recognizing his strength because he was struggling with the darkness. And Ericus's teachings weren't that good, because instead of telling him how to cope with the darkness properly, he just said, "Don't allow it in your heart! I will now fail your exam because you showed a little bit of darkness." Meanwhile, Xehanort actually, like, praised Terra and accepted him for who he was. So, like, yeah, being a 19-year-old in an emotionally vulnerable place, being told by someone who's, like, reputable and well-respected that you're actually completely fine as you are and the world has misunderstood you, like, that would be significant. I would have fallen for that as a 19-year-old, aka last year. Like, I don't really blame Terra that much. Not to say that Terra's completely guilt-free or that he did absolutely nothing wrong, but he, like, had some good motivations. And Vince is being even younger and even more easily manipulated, you know. But yeah, anyway, back to the JoJo's rant. I think Part 6 has a lot of really good moments, a lot of really good fights, a lot of really emotionally resonant moments. And I will recognize that and give credit where credit's due. I think ultimately Part 6 is a good story with good characters. But there are undeniable, huge, noticeable problems with the plot, and I feel like we're doing ourselves a disservice. Well, one, you do yourself a disservice if you refuse to recognize that a flawed story made you feel things. And two, you do yourself a disservice if you refuse to recognize that a story you like has flaws. We have to approach these things with a level of nuance where we're willing to acknowledge, wait, I need the one with Blizzard. Okay, there we go. We need to approach these things with a nuanced, willingness to acknowledge, the faults in the things we like, and the things we like about things that are ultimately flawed. Hey, leave Riku alone. Never mind, she's dead. She's dead, and now I'm their primary target. Ow. Knock that off. Ah! Wait, is that unblockable like it is in Rumine? Oh, wait. Okay, it's cutscene time.
On the moon's pale light.
Let's see.
She has her face out.
Just stop!
I love how he just goes, no. It's like the crying Wojak meme. Stop it, Isa! And then the Chad Isa Wojak is just like, no. But yeah. And if Part 6's flaws, and another unfortunate thing with Part 6 is, as you know, as anyone in JoJo's, like, who's gotten into the series knows, I'm not gonna say what happens towards the end, but it's common knowledge at this point that Part 7 and 8 take place in a different timeline than Part 6. Or, like, takes place in a different continuity, right? I'm not gonna say, like, the nitty-gritty details of that, because that's a huge spoiler, but yeah, that means that like, Part 6, on top of also having to be its own story with its own characters and its own arcs, had to also deal with being the finale of the entire JoJo's franchise. That's a ton of pressure, like, on this part to deliver. And it's also, like,
I got loads of people
it makes every single plot development that happens in Part 6 way more significant, because it eventually leads to the end of the story, which makes any flaw in Part 6 way more significant. And yeah, that's a lot of pressure to deal with as an author, and a lot of a lot for your story to have to deal with. So I recognize that, but ultimately, it doesn't make the flaws any better at the end of the day. It's just unfortunate. Just the extra lasers to emphasize just how screwed Axel got in this scene.
Dashed by you far more times than I care to count. Now it ends. I will purge that light in you.
Baby.
With darkness.
And this part confirming once again that hearts and
Changing
souls are
sides
two
again.
different things in Kingdom Hearts. You can like kill someone
need
and
him
remove their
alive.
soul and
You
then
know
still
that.
have their heart.
We only need his
I'm gonna let this
heart
play out because
in
we get
order
to see
forge
Shion's
the
face.
key. We do not need his soul.
Yeah. That actually does explain
that's
seeing,
right. You
the
were
fact that they need our
friends.
hearts, but are also
Then
willing to like kill the protagonist.
You take his life.
Like they could kill them and still gather their heart because the heart and the soul are in two different categories. That makes sense.
Who are you?
Huh! Teleportation and, like, freaking telekinesis. A deadly combination. It's crazy that they animated her facial expressions when you usually can't see them.
Wait.
Just completely body blocking
alright.
all of this.
You can stop now.
Cutscene Riku is an absolute
It's
Chad.
alright.
Shion.
He took all of that to the chest and is just staring at her, stone-faced. Giga Chad, Sigma male. Sigma male grind set. Don't bother blocking. Just sit there and eat the attacks. Don't even flinch.
Shield.
I realize why they put the shadow over her face, but it's so much more impactful without it.
Your keyblade.
I also
is
kind of feel
no
bad for the
more.
developers who put work into the
And
facial
still you
expressions only
think
for
you
the
can
shadow to
play
cover it.
At being a guardian
But
of
now with
light.
mods, we're able to see the work they put into her.
You can
I love the
wait your
camera zoom in
turn.
just for him growing hair.
Also ran.
Yeah. Contender for best scene in the game and possibly best scene in the whole franchise. That's the crazy thing about Kingdom Hearts 3. It has some, like, it simultaneously has some scenes that I'd call the worst in the franchise, and some scenes that I'd call the best in the whole franchise.
Hands off my
That's what I
friends.
mean when I say, like, recognize the flaws, the things you love about, or the flaws about the things you love,
Cannot
and
be.
the things you love about things that are flawed. Like, I ultimately do really like this game, but... like, I am able to point out the flaws in certain scenes, but then I get to stuff like this and it's like, alright, here's why I actually like this at the end of the day, despite its flaws. Which is kind of how I feel about Part 6 of
This
JoJo's.
is impossible.
I'll get to a part with really dumb
Where
writing and
did
think,
you get
oh
a
god,
vessel?
why? But then I'll, like, immediately
Same
after
as
that,
you.
they'll show me something really cool and I'll be
Same
like,
how.
oh, that's why.
Most of the organization's members, they travel
I've already
here from
complained about the
past as
character.
hearts.
Oh crap, I accidentally unplugged
You
my
had
headphones.
replicas ready and waiting.
And I've already complained about
One for each of them.
my problems with Foo Fighters, so
Told you.
I
owe
won't
my
do that
return to
rant. I'll
many.
just conclude it by saying
Some
Part
of
6
them
is a
people
mixed
you
bag.
knew.
Has its ups and
Ansem
downs,
the
but I ultimately
Wise.
think it's good. It's just a
Zexion.
shame, though,
And
that it
others
had to
too.
carry the weight of being the
It
entire
seems you're not as good at winning over
the
people's
entire
hearts as you
series,
think.
the entire original continuity's
I
finale,
see.
on top of being its own
There was
story.
one last thing I needed in order for me
I
to
feel
be
like if
whole
it
again.
just had to be one or the other, it would have
A
done well.
connection.
Like, I don't know, if
Sora helped me
if
find
Part
my
6
way
was
back
just
here.
allowed to be its own story with
to
its
my
own
friends.
thing, and didn't have to end off the entire original continuity, then it would have ended up a lot better. I gotta get a drink of water.
Need hearts. I will scatter them all.
But
to the
also I realized that
winds.
that was somewhat out of Araki's control. He was kind of in control of it because
What
things
difference does
he got to
one
write
little
things the
light
way he
make?
wanted them to go, but then it makes you
You
question
have
why did he want
others.
them to go this way. Whatever.
Just as we have more darknesses to replenish our ranks.
Rest, Axel.
Ugh.
Roxas will fight in your place.
But yeah,
And I'll fight for Kyrie.
that's as much as I can say without getting into
when it
spoilers.
comes to Keyblades, you're the old hand.
And I might have already said too much, so apologies in advance if I did. I really don't want to be one of those people who starts talking about JoJo's and immediately goes into the most spoilerific elements. I do not have MP.
Get ready.
All right, Roxas, you carry this fight for me, please. You really can just wait for Roxas to create an opening and then just go in. See ya. On another subject, Turning Red was great. Like, I really liked it. I think it's something that, like, I've heard a lot of talk about target audiences, but I think it's something that, like, everyone can enjoy. Because it's just legitimately good. Like, it's one of the best looking 3D movies I've seen in a long time. Like, its art style and direction are really good. It has a lot of heart. The writing behind, like, the characters and the world and stuff is pretty cool. Like, it's just a very charming, likable film. Like, one of my favorite, like, Disney animated movies in years, honestly. Like, it's so good. There's been a lot of— oh my god! Freaking annihilated. There's been a lot of, like, very surprisingly volatile discourse about it online. I've seen more people complaining about people complaining than I have actually seen people complain. I've seen one tweet with 5 likes saying that the movie was mediocre, and then everything else I've seen about Turning Red has been, like, overwhelmingly positive. And every single tweet complaining about other people complaining about the film gets like 100,000 likes. So I think it's fair to say that the overall consensus is that the movie is good.
Like you need them.
And culturally, it's— if there was a culture war there, then I think the pro Turning Red team has won.
At first, I sacrificed.
Oh, okay.
everything
Hi,
to try
Kingdom
and
Hearts
track
1,
her
Riku.
down.
Funny seeing you here.
You're the one who went off.
You look so sad.
Left her and me both in the dust.
I don't get the context for this conversation, but I'm really sad.
Me how you just exited our lives. I lost all sense of purpose.
I'd be sad if I became a whole foot shorter too.
You. Yes, I know.
He's not even reacting to the scene. He's just
wouldn't
upset
do that.
about his height loss. Oh no, I shrunk.
But I was jealous.
You admit it.
Well, if I make it back, you won't get it out of me a second time.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it's good. Like, it's not like a Teen Titans Go situation where a bunch of, like, man-children whine about it.
See you.
But the thing they're whining about actually is mediocre. It's a situation where, I guess, a small minority of people complained about it. But then the thing actually ended up being good. Not like the whole series is mediocre, but it has a few good movies and crossover events. Good. I mean, like,
go help Kyrie.
Like the entire thing was just really good. Like the soundtrack is really good. It has like I think the genre is New Jack Swing.
Good luck.
Like the soundtrack is amazing. It looks great.
All right.
Like the art direction and characters are all fantastic. It talks about a lot of issues that like while like I know I'm like, even if I'm not the target demographic, I can appreciate them going there with certain things, you know. Just stuff that you wouldn't usually expect, like I mean, people don't really give Disney, a lot of, like, stuff happens in Disney that people forget about. Like, that time in Mulan, an entire village was slaughtered off-screen. Like, the whole village was burned down, and presumably everyone who lived there was killed. Like, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens in Disney that people don't talk about, but yeah. Like, aside from the dark material in Disney stuff, like, them talking about, like, real stuff that people actually deal with in such, like, a somewhat, like, mature way was pretty... It was neat. But yeah, I think, ultimately, like, it's actually good. Like, it actually has merit. It's not people pretending, or, well, like, acting like something is great in order to spite people who are saying that it's bad for dumb reasons. It's actually, like, good. But yeah.
Riku! Your Majesty!
Sora!
About time.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. The articles. Okay, there are a few articles published about how, if you're not in the target audience, the film can be grating to watch. Or, like, cringy. Those are the main people complaining
Seamus!
about it.
Where's Kairi?
But, like,
Wait, is she
when
in
have
trouble?
people who write articles about things ever
Yeah,
been representative
Seamus
of
took
what
her.
people actually think? Because you could also read a bunch of articles about, like, speculators saying, NFTs are really
Settle
great and
down,
cool, and they're gonna be the future.
It's Sora!
And now we see, like, interest in NFTs
The
rapidly
13
dying.
darknesses and 7 lights have clashed
So,
9
yeah.
times, yielding these 9 keys.
I'm not surprised at all that people who write, like,
Keys?
internet articles
We are
have
4
bad
short,
takes.
but those 4
They've been
keys
having bad
will be
takes for a
produced
while now.
here and
But I guess,
now.
the
Yeah, sure.
the
And
animation
what makes you
community
think
had
there'd
had
ever be
enough
any way we'd help you
of,
with that?
awful
You
journalist
forget
takes.
I plan for every eventuality.
Kairi!
If you do summon Kingdom Hearts,
there was something
we
else I was
will
thinking
defeat
about.
you. And we
That-
will close it again.
Bugged me.
Perhaps,
Journalists having
That
terrible
is-
takes.
if you survive that long.
Go back to the shop.
I cannot remember. Okay, take out the annoying guy first. Also, the final chapter of Dark Road got delayed again, but if it ends up being good in the end, then fine, you know. Darn it, I was gonna rant about something I found in. No! Oh, I actually dodged it! Die!
Surrender.
Oh, ouch! I can just block that.
Don't blink.
Nice. Okay, cool. I cannot remember the thing that I was complaining about. Had something to do with the way people analyze media. But I guess I can move on to my next subject since this guy cannot complete. I'm not letting you teleport away from this, not yet. I saw the screen darken, which means they're gonna, yep. Their attacks definitely have a rhythm to them. I planned on using the thing. I was gonna use Leaf Bracer in order to, like, cheese my way through that, but it didn't work out. I will kill this guy! Okay. But anyway, yeah. All-Star Battle R is coming out, and 10 new characters have been announced. Here's my big brain, prediction for what's gonna happen. And again, this is a prediction, not a thing I'd
There's a
want.
high price to pay
Like,
for all of this.
I think it's cool regardless,
And
but
what price would
sometimes
that
people
be?
say prediction, but what they really mean is thing I'd like to see. But this is an
I'll
actual,
go
like,
back
prediction
to my
prediction.
time and live out my life.
I think the 10 extra characters
But
are
Sora,
characters who...
you're done
I think they're
now.
gonna take Bao out of the
Your
roster,
journey ends here.
and then add... the 10 new characters are gonna be characters
Goodbye,
who
Sora.
weren't playable in
Your
All-Star
time
Battle, but
in
were
this
playable
world is-
in Eyes of Heaven.
Go on.
So from part 1, the new character will be Speedwagon. From part 2, it'll be Stromheim. For part 3, it will be Mariah and Indol. Maybe Pet Shop, but probably not. So at least Mariah and Indol. Or maybe it will be Pet Shop since how... No, Indol can move around and stuff. I thought I blocked that. But yeah, Mariah and Indol. From part 4, Yukiko. Since she wasn't an All-Star Battle Origin. From part 5, Trish.
My strength returns.
From part 6, and Weather Report. Ow. Oh, any non-clone characters, by the way. So, like, clones are like duplicates of the same character. I'm not counting. Because I don't think they're gonna, like, use a character slot for that. Especially when some characters have install supers, that would turn them into those transformations anyway.
You're done. Bye. Just for you.
Where'd they go? Come?
Pay attention. No more.
Is that all you got?
Is this what enemies see when I lock onto them? Like, do they see me glowing with a purple aura indicating that I'm locked onto them? But anyway, from part 4, Yukiko. How do I keep this timing that? Got him. Oh, again, quick reminder that I was part of the target audience for Teen Titans Go, and I still disliked it. Unlike the people in their mid-20s who were trying to say it was good. But anyway, and I thought Sonic Boom was a much better comedy cartoon, so I wasn't anti-comedy cartoon. And I also wanted a Teen Titans series that was, like, focused more on the comedic, lighthearted, goofy moments of the series, because I realized that the original series had a lot of funny moments, and those were, like, some of the best moments in the series. But anyway, back to All-Star Battle. No, not Magic Carousel, please. Who the heck uses Magic Carousel? Freaking degenerates. Oh, I destroyed all of Ansem's things at once. That was awesome. Oh, but yeah. Part 5, Trish. Part 6, Weather Report. So that's...
Bested.
1,
Yet again.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I know that you have a heart.
Weather Report. Wait.
What do you feel? Was it worth it?
Weather Report from Part 6.
I feel
Part 7.
The emptiness where my companions
Diego,
once
yeah.
stood.
Part 7, Diego, and Part 8, Joshu.
And now
I think those are going to be all the new characters, unless they do DLC. There's a chance that because Part 6 is currently airing, they'll add, like, Foo Fighters?
For as
Possibly.
long as I can remember.
But I think they're ultimately just going to go with characters who they already have animations rigged. New, like, PS4 models and animations rigged up for, rather than making new characters
Pain
from scratch.
is being human, Xemnas.
Which honestly, considering all the work they're already putting into this remake, I can't really blame them for doing. Because as a reminder, they had to update every single character with their Eyes of Heaven model. Not just recolor them or touch them up a bit. They straight up went in, replaced all of their animations and everything with their new models from Eyes of Heaven. They added new gameplay mechanics such as a tag team mode, a 2v2 mode, and added new mechanics like combo canceling. Crap. They're adding 10 new characters. And also, they updated the old models from Eyes of Heaven to have the anime colors for characters like Giorno. And for characters like Giorno, they updated the roster to have their anime voices as well. So they put a lot of work into this remake. So if they do end up reusing characters and character models from Eyes of Heaven, honestly, I think that's reasonable. This isn't just like a minimal... Ah, nice! We all used our projectile at once. Notice how only Mickey's missed. Riku supremacy. Why did I think it was a good idea to dash directly into that? Man! Oh, those are pretty good final shots. But yeah, this is looking to be a pretty good, like, remake thingy that they're putting out. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder if, for the 10 new characters, if they really are the, Eyes of Heaven cast, like I'm suspecting. I wonder if they're gonna reuse their theme songs from Eyes of Heaven? Which in that case, would we have the option to, like, swap in between a character's All-Star Battle theme and their Eyes of Heaven theme? Or do you think they're gonna make 10 new theme songs for these characters?
Is vaster than
I'm kind of wondering what they're gonna do for the soundtrack.
I
also, like, are they gonna have any new modes? Is the 2v2 mode, like,
part of me
is
wanted
2v2
to
a new mode, or is it just, like, the default form of gameplay? Because I remember Eyes of Heaven not having a 1v1 mode.
I did not care.
Like, are they gonna make any new story content?
Nothing else seemed to matter anymore.
Like, I'm very much looking forward to seeing, like, what, if anything, they do in the form of, like,
It is time
new
to
single-player
move on,
content.
boy.
Or new modes.
There is more to seek. So go forth now.
I think old All-Star Battle did have a basic versus mode, so there'd be no reason for this game to not have a versus mode too. And it did have these little modes where you recap the events of a certain part. So, I'm guessing that this version of All-Star Battle will have that as well. So yeah, I think ultimately, from what we've already seen, it looks like a great remake. With a lot more effort than, like, these things usually get. It's not just like a cheap, quick cash grab. Like, they actually cared. I was so disappointed when I found out that, like, the only new JoJo games that were coming out were gonna be, like, a mobile game and a freaking
12 keys
battle royale. Now. But now that I see that they've actually made, like,
one more.
like a proper, like, not just like an arcade game and a mobile game, like a game that you could actually, like, play on consoles and stuff, like a legit game they're putting real effort and time into. I'm pretty pleased. It's pretty sick.
Now, Sora. Darkness and light's final clash.
Oh no! Riku, no!
Kairi! You require motivation.
He's still just sliding.
Kairi!
Still weird how she's the only character. Oh wait, no, I guess Shion also. Who's there? Okay, I guess Riku got deleted out of existence too.
Why? I have done it.
Xehanort!
His voice crack gets me every time.
Stop sign.
Oh, the code physics going absolutely nuts.
Riku!
Unfazed.
Now, the Keyblade War will finally reach its conclusion.
Yeah, having these 13 keys around him definitely gave him a power amp. Considering how easily he could shrug everyone off there. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna be beating the final boss and then calling it a day.
The Keyblade is complete. Kingdom Hearts, I call upon your true form. Open now and show me the world to come.
Okay, one last complaint about Part 6. It's easier... Okay, Heaven has already been mentioned by Dio. So I'm allowed to briefly talk about that, but I won't talk about it for that long. It is easier to explain what Kingdom Hearts is than it is to explain what Heaven is. Think about that for a second, right? Like, Kingdom Hearts... I can easily, in one sentence, say Kingdom Hearts is the light that all worlds were born from. Or all worlds and people were born from. It is the original source of light within the Kingdom Hearts universe. And it has, like, it holds ultimate power in the ability to recreate the universe.
Goofy.
I can also explain how the methods to open Kingdom Hearts work. Because there are actual, like, mechanics throughout the entire series that have been put in place to explain how this, how Kingdom Hearts works and the different methods to open it. Is the writing surrounding Kingdom Hearts always perfect? God, no. But can I at least understand it enough to explain it to other people? Like, with, like, at least a 90% accuracy? Yeah. For the life of me, I've watched entire video essays. I've read through Part 6.
Had a couple of plot
read
points
through
that
certain points of the story multiple times, watched entire like plot synopsises, and watched like Caleb AI's series on what Heaven is multiple times over, and I still could barely explain to you what it is. But I won't go into it now because, well, trying to explain it would be a spoiler, but...
Your Majesty, Riku,
let's just say it's really important. It's as important. Heaven is as important to JoJo's as Kingdom Hearts is to Kingdom Hearts, and one is way easier to explain than the other.
Of Mastery exam,
because one
we learned that he can transcend space and time.
Like I said, Part 6 is supposed to be the end of the whole original continuity,
and we can use that
and we only
it.
hear about Heaven in the end, while in Kingdom Hearts. Like, even in the original Kingdom Hearts 1, we heard about what it was before it became a big important thing.
Understood.
Like, the Ansem reports mentioned Kingdom Hearts and, like, its power, and the Heartless, like,
Kingdom Hearts is a
it.
much bigger threat. Let me handle Xehanort, while you guys keep it
But yeah, the notoriously confusing Kingdom Hearts does a better job with some of its plot points than JoJo's in the later parts. Or, well, in Part 6 specifically, so that's not great.
Right.
There are also certain stand abilities in Part 6 that are just take an entire, like,
Sora?
X page worth of exposition in order to explain. Like, I know JoJo's has bizarre in the title, but, you know. They really stretch the meaning of what certain words mean, sometimes.
You can't forget about us.
Without Keyblades, it's not like we'll be much help here.
But even with the convoluted, like, a lot of the convoluted nonsense and mess that happens in Part 6, it has some really great moments. Even during its worst writing moments, it can deliver some, like, great content.
Sora.
Huh? Oh. Hey.
But yeah, when more parts of episodes of Part 6 get released, I'll talk more about my specific thoughts. Because right now I'm vague posting to avoid spoilers.
Thank you.
Oh, whoa, whoa, what? Gee, like, teleported into her. Thanks. I will now absorb you into my body. Sora, you're gonna, Riku, you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss. That didn't go anywhere near the mark. That you, way to screw that one off.
What?
I can't believe those things that we thought were only a gameplay element ended up showing up in a cutscene. That's really funny. Multiple cutscenes, actually. But overall, I'd give, like, Part 6, like, fittingly a 6 out of 10, you know? And I'm not just saying that to be funny, because haha, Part 6, but, like, I think it is above average, but that's, like, it, you know? I think it's just above average. Which is better than being below average, or just simply average, you know? So, there's that. Okay, so, okay, real quick, I want to talk about, Vinesauce Joel's, like, JoJo takes. Because I think a lot of his perception of certain things is painted by whatever his first introduction to it was. And he has a lot of, like, interesting takes about Part 5, which is one of my more favorite parts, I'd say. I definitely don't like it as much as Part 4, but Part 5 is up there, especially towards the end. But he has some takes about Part 5. He thought that, like, Giorno should have been, like, the whole plot should have been about Giorno being half vampire, stuff like that. And, like, his perception was painted by the awful fan translations. And then, like, so he read the awful, like, the poorly translated
Where are we?
early manga chapters of, Part 5 before the much better reprints. And then for the longest time, he didn't watch the Part 5 anime. So for the longest time, his only impression of Part 5 was just, like, the poorly translated version. And if that's your only introduction, like, the only version of Part 5 you have access to, and you, like, I guess it left such a bad taste in his mouth that he didn't feel the desire to look into the other versions of Part 5 for the longest time. Since the initial version he saw was so bad. Which, like, on some level is somewhat understandable. Like, first impressions mean a lot, but at a certain point it's like, I mean, if there are better versions out there now, which, whatever, this is like, I think he had a watch party on the Buru with chat, or, I don't know. Like, I wasn't there, so I can't say, but I think by now he has watched Part 5, the anime adaptation. So hopefully whatever misconceptions he had about the part are more so ironed out. But yeah, he had certain takes about how Giorno should have been handled. Like, just as... Even though it's not really, like, it's never established that being the child of a vampire would make you one. That's, like, never... Like, you have to have the blood directly from a vampire. Not their vampire juices. Like... The only liquid from a vampire you need to be one in JoJo's is their blood. Other substances will not work. So it's consistent. I mean, I guess if you're making the argument that the rules should have been written differently, then whatever, but... Yeah, I think for, like, Araki, like, the concept of the main villain had a secret illegitimate child the whole time, and that child has their own, like, ambitions going on, completely separate from who their father is. That is a hard sell, admittedly. Like, there are so many ways that concept can go bad. And we may or may not see some of those bad concepts. But yeah, there are so many ways that concept of Dio having a secret illegitimate kid can be handled poorly. And I think Giorno is not an example of one of those. He actually takes his appearance directly from Dio, and his earlier appearance looks somewhat like Jonathan. Like, his stand, okay, he actually does take elements from Dio and Jonathan, not in, like, a shallow surface level way.
What?
Like, you could take any character and say, from JoJo's and say, like, you could take Koichi. No, you could take Okuyasu and say, oh, he has a sense of justice and fights for good like Jonathan, but also he has somewhat of a mean streak and sometimes treats people poorly, like Dio. Like, you could do that for literally any character. But for Giorno, it's actually deeper than the surface level stuff. It feels like every single aspect of his character was based around the idea that he is the son of Dio, born from Jonathan's body. And like, the fact that he's a Joestar, is actually relevant to his character and means more than...
serious?
Like, the star on his neck is more than just an, over-glorified homing beacon, which wouldn't even need to be necessary because stand users are already drawn to each other naturally anyway, but whatever. Yeah, like, it's more than just a homing beacon, it's actually a part of his character. And everything from his, like, mannerisms, like, the fact that he's actually says the Muda and Uri, like, his stance cries Muda just like Dio's. His stand's design is somewhat inspired by Dio's. The way his stand works, its life-giving properties are similar to Hamon. The way that, like, the way that Giorno talks about Gold Experience's ability, and like how much he talks about life energy, is similar in concept to how Hamon is described as being like the energy of life. And like, it has the ability to kill vampires because it has its unique life energy. And like, yeah, Jonathan even talks about life energy a lot when he... Oh, hey, I wasn't ready, I wasn't ready.
Is that all you got?
But anyway, yeah. His whole life energy thing, is similar in nature to Hamon. His mannerisms and appearance are similar to Dio. Like, it actually feels like Araki didn't, like, do a half-heart, like, Giorno being Dio's son wasn't done as just some, like, half-hearted attempt to make a lackluster character feel more significant than they are. Giorno is truly his own guy, and the fact that he somehow, like, he simultaneously manages to be his own guy, and also, oh crap, I didn't equip Donald and Goofy with their new stuff, and I will not get another chance to. Oops. I was too busy talking about JoJo's to even think about that. That might be a problem coming up. Yeah, Donald's not gonna have MP haste, so he's not gonna be able to heal me as fast if I screw up. Whoops. Okay, well... Going ham on these chairs and dying sets. But yeah, like, he simultaneously feels like his own character with his own ambitions and goals, and a synthesis of Jonathan and Dio. He stands on his own, like, without... I beat him that fast?! They didn't even get to do their desperation move, jeez! Oh my god, I'm cracked. iPod users, iPhone users be like, please don't be cracked, meanwhile the phone looks like this.
Of all the places to be sent.
Yes, I'm an Android user, how could you tell? Anyway, friggin', not that whatever type of phone you use matters. No. If you, no one cares, and if you do care, you shouldn't. Anyway.
Behold, this town. Once a
yeah,
seat
like,
of power for all Keyblade
like
wielders.
Rocky pulled off that hard sell so well.
All worlds
like,
spring.
he does such a good job with it. I think Giorno not being half vampire is fine because every other aspect of his character is done so well. Imagine if there was imagine, hypothetically, for the sake of argument, there was a character or a group of characters who looks nothing like Dio, didn't really act like Dio outside of a very surface level, shallow way. Like, didn't look like him, didn't act like them, and them being Joestars and having the blood of Joestars was barely relevant to their characters.
And my other selves.
And like, they basically could have been like imagine if you just slapped the Joestar, like slapped the Joestar tattoo on the back of the 9 gods of Egypt from part 3 and said that they were like Indol, Mariah, Oingo and Boingo. Like, you say that they're all Dio's illegitimate children. What the heck would that do for the story? Why would that be necessary? In what ways would they actually feel like Dio's children that weren't like surface level, like the fans stretching to try to make them seem more like, you know, like, basically what I'm getting at is there are a lot of ways that this concept can be done poorly or be done worse, And Giorno's not an example of that. Araki did a great job of synthesizing this character who is their own guy, while also being a Joestar with the blood of Dio. And the fact that he's a more morally, well, not morally ambiguous, he does have a sense of justice, but like, he's more willing to like kill people and like be in this like shady mafioso business. Like that's like him being more on like the dark side of morality and like the underbelly of society does fit in with him being the son of like the main villain Dio. Like that's like he's a hero who fights for things that things that are good while being on the underbelly of society. That's like a perfect, him being in the mob is like actually super relevant to him being the son of Jonathan and Dio, because it's the perfect synthesis of coming from a shady place and doing the right thing, coming from Dio but acting like a Joestar. Like every part of his character is this great synthesis of these different elements, and they're all elements that could have been done so poorly, but Araki dodged the bullet in so many places. Oh, Sigma Rail Riku never gets old.
We are just getting started.
Like, everything from his design, the way he acts, his mannerisms, like, it's so good. Giorno's a great, well-conceived character, even if he's not, like, half vampire or whatever. Crap. I may be over-leveled for this. We'll see. I just get the impression from that last fight, where I was half paying attention and talking about JoJo's and still won, that, maybe I over-leveled a bit?
Sorry.
Well, you know, oh, I didn't equip Kuraga. Nice.
Out of my way.
Stage spiked.
Out of my way.
That's so funny.
You're done. You're done.
Okay. But yeah, I think Giorno's a really good character and often misunderstood by the fanbase for a multitude of reasons. And he pulls off a certain concept that, yeah, Part 6 has a lot of examples of things that Araki previously did very well, being done way more poorly. And that's what makes it feel like, if it was from a writer who was consistently mid, that would be one thing. But it's a shame to see Araki do certain things in Part 6, but it's like, we've seen you do this better. I don't even have to, like, compare it to a different series. I can, like, look to other stuff in this series and say it's better. Not that the Giorno rant I was going on has anything to do with Part 6, haha. Completely unrelated rant. But yeah. Oh, man. I just can't help myself going on rants like that, but yeah. Ultimately, the previous stuff I was saying still stands. Because certain problems wouldn't emerge if Part 6 had to be the finale for the whole original continuity. And, well, you'll see what I mean as it continues. Head first into water from, like, 90 feet away. And he's gonna be completely unbothered. Watch. Giga Chad Riku. See? Unbothered. Alright, let's get wacky. We're in Daybreak Town, I guess. How confused must have, like, the marine biologist of, Scala have been discovering this entire secret, like, underground sunken society underneath their home. Like, just imagine being scuba diving one day and you find, oh, the hidden city of Atlantis. I didn't know that that would be right here in my backyard. Alright. Okay, the attack then dash strategy I've been using doesn't work as well for Riku as it did for, like, Sora and Cloud. Especially not as much, like, as Cloud, where he could just dash halfway across the screen and, like, infinitely bully whoever he was fighting. Seriously, what happened to Xehanort's old Keyblade armor? Why does he not use it at all here? Not even in the final phase. I guess holding the X-Blade gives you enough of a buff that you don't even need armor. Alright, time to psychically teleport over to him. Oh yeah, and I've already ranted a million times about, like, why you shouldn't excuse examples of bad writing in a story you like when you point out those flaws in any other story. Like, sometimes when people have already decided that something's bad, they'll point out flaws in, like, the smallest areas. Like, they'll pick apart every single line. When they've already decided that the writing is bad, they'll pick apart every line of dialogue, even if it's not really a great example of the writing being bad. Yet if it's a series they like, they'll take, like, even the worst... Okay. Come here. The worst examples of writing in it, and, like, refuse to acknowledge that there's anything wrong with that. How did I miss every single opening there? How? He's hacking. He's hacking. He's hacking.
You're done. Take this. Sorry. Bye. Just me.
He's hacking, he says, using the modded character.
Out of my way.
I forgot that sends him straight down.
Is that all you got?
Ratio.
You're done.
Do you think you have one?
I think I have two. We don't need to talk about what that was. But yeah, there are certain critics out there who I've seen criticize examples of, like, poor writing. Even if it's quote-unquote nitpicky, I've seen them pick apart and, like, criticize questionable or straight-up bad instances of writing in things. And they're definitely, like, not of the mindset that you should never criticize art or anything like that. But suddenly, when it comes to a thing they like, they'll completely ignore all of its faults and act like it's, like, the best thing to ever grace the earth. And that's what annoys me a lot, I guess. Like, seeing someone so arrogantly go on a rant about how the thing you like is bad, actually, but then when you point towards flaws in the thing they like, they'll just be like, whatever. Whatever, man. Who cares? Whatever. Anyway, here's, like, a million nitpicks about this other series. Here's, like, other, like, examples of me picking apart bad writing, but when it comes to the thing I like, whatever. Like, if you could, like, at least acknowledge that it has flaws, that would be great. And, like, people, if you go out of your way online to jump into discourse, you can't then complain that people are asking you to justify your opinions. Like, if you just want to be in an environment where you don't have to argue about something, like, find that environment. Like, just talk with your real-life friends. In, like, I don't know, like a private Discord server or a group chat or something like that. Talk in real life with your, like, in-person friends. Talk in a specific fan space for people who enjoy the thing and won't, like, argue with your takes about it. But if you just go to a random space and announce something, or, like, go out of your way to announce something in a super argumentative way that will, like, obviously spark a debate, you can't get mad when people debate about it with you. You haven't just, like, you weren't just innocently minding your own business when someone barged in and forced you to tried to force you to justify your opinions. You went out of your way to be, like, join in the discourse and be argumentative. And when you go out of your way to do that, and people present counter-arguments, you can't then complain that, oh, people are arguing with me online. People are trying to make me justify my stances. Like, you walked into this one. You could have done anything else with your time, and you decided that what you wanted to do was argue with strangers on the internet. So now you have to argue with strangers on the internet. You made your bed, lie in it. You could just, like, simply have not argued with random strangers and just, like, talked with your friends about it if you didn't want to debate strangers online, but for some reason you chose that route. And for some reason are surprised when, oh, it didn't work out well. No. I'm just, like, just act in your best interest. If you know you hate online discourse and having to deal with, like, internet strangers arguing with you, don't announce every single opinion that pops into your head online. If you're bored and you want to discuss something with someone who actually has, like, some interest in you and, like, some investment in you, and, like, recognizes you as a complete full human being and doesn't just know you from online interactions, talk to one of your actual friends about it. Don't just go online, randomly spark discourse on, like, an open space like Twitter, and then expect everyone to engage with the conversation the exact way that you want them to.
Come, Kingdom Hearts!
Act in your best interest and talk to people who are invested in you and actually, like, care about you as a person and realize that, like, recognize you for more than whatever internet opinion you have. Because unless someone's really parasocially connected to you, they're not going to recognize you as, like, a full, like, they're not going to recognize you as, I don't know, like, John. They're gonna recognize you as God, Hyperspace God of Death 69 or whatever your username is, you know? They're gonna know you as that guy who had that hot take on Twitter, while your friend knows you from being your real-life friend, and will talk to you as if they're your real-life friend. Even if the two of you get into an argument, it'll be two friends arguing about their takes on a series, and not just you arguing with a stranger online. So inherently, it'll have a different feel to it. Like, if you hate... Like, I don't know, just do what's best for you, and if you know you hate having to deal with online arguments, don't toss yourself into those. Okay?
Enlighten me.
It's different if someone tries to start beef with you for no reason. But, come on, like... In most cases, it really is, like, the person doing it to themselves and then complaining about it after the fact. When people rightfully criticize, or, like, rightfully engage with the argument that they started. Basically, if you don't want to argue online, don't argue online. I know what I'm doing here. If people, like, take issue with my takes and decided to, like, criticize them, I would not then go, why are people being critical of me on the internet? I can't believe it. Not everyone agrees with everything I have to say. And that's not to justify harassment, by the way. If you're legitimately being mean or cruel to a person because of their online takes, then, like, that's unacceptable no matter how bad their take is. Like, cruelty, like, if it's something that doesn't even have, if it's just an ad hominem insult that has nothing to do with what the take was, or, like, it isn't a fair piece of criticism, then, like, that's absolutely not justified. Donald! Oh, thanks for healing yourself. Very considerate. This segment is usually pretty easy. I don't know why suddenly having so much trouble with it. Oh my god! That animation got sped up into the Riku mod. Interesting. But yeah, just... Oh god, I'm about to get ratio. Ratio blocked. Crap. 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 Okay. Okay, ratio successful. I have lost this argument because your audience is bigger.
Take this! Take this! You're done!
Oh, if I beat the final boss with the force push, that would be so wrong. Wait, I want to do that.
Out of my way!
Come on! Whatever. But what if I beat him with Trinity Guard? What if he dodged by moving slightly to the left?
Later.
What? You can't counter that like in Remind. Alright, I think I know the swag finisher I want to go with. Okay, there we go. Good enough. Okay, well, I was gonna say you missed, but...
It ends here and now.
Yeah, maybe it's because you didn't make any attempt to block. I don't think your psychic energy was quite strong enough to counter Kingdom Hearts. Even though you looked completely unfazed by getting hit by that massive laser, so... I mean, that's kinda Sigma-esque. What even is happening? They have to lift him up. It looks like they're just, like, lifting him. Yeah, that's the problem here. I wasn't tall enough to defeat Master Xehanort. I had to become more elevated. We missed, and somehow his beam just, like, retreated, and he lost. I cannot emphasize the extent to which we missed. Is this gonna be Kingdom Hearts 1 Riku in this cutscene? Probably. No, it's KH3 Riku still.
Why? How?
Squid Games.
It's over now! You lost!
No, look. You are too late.
Are we really?
I don't know.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know.
A purge. The world will be returned whence it started.
Imagine if he actually got away with doing this, and that's how the Kingdom Hearts continuity ended. Haha.
And
imagine if that happens. Funny.
From the light came.
Imagine if people expected us to be happy with that because, I don't know, freaking Chirithy or whatever killed him in the new continuity, and that made up for it somehow. Haha.
be getting more.
Imagine if him not quite creating his ideal world was somehow considered a victory, even though all our protagonists were killed and
the light,
the world got reset. Haha.
Symbol of the world's hope was devoured by shadow.
I'm talking about a Gundam if you didn't
leaving
understand
nothing
that
but
reference.
ruin and utter failure. But the first light, the light of Kingdom Hearts.
Imagine if after all that happened, a new character named Bora showed up, and we're like,
an empty world.
We were expected to think, oh no, it's okay. It's okay that Sora died. Bora is here.
Your decision to
This
make.
completely different character with completely different memories who didn't go through any of the development that the old character went through. Is
Then
going to live a
whose was
happier life, so that makes it okay that Sora got picked off.
The world needs someone to stand up.
Again, I'm talking about Gundam.
Someone strong. To stop the weak from polluting the world with their endless darkness. Someone to dictate their destiny.
You know what? I'm gonna cut this part
If so,
out of the upload
you are
version.
not that person, Xehanort.
And then I'm just gonna post it with no context when
A real leader
a certain piece of
knows
media
that
gets
destiny
released
is
so that
beyond
people
his
will get what I'm
control.
talking about.
And accepts that.
Also, retconning major pieces of... even Kingdom Hearts does the whole retconning major pieces of the villain's motivation, the main villain's motivations things, better than Part 6 does. At least with Xehanort, it was foreshadowed since his appearance in Birth by Sleep, and not, like, suddenly introduced in the 12th hour of the entire series. Imagine if we only figured out that Xehanort wanted to use Kingdom Hearts halfway through this game. Like, at least in Birth by Sleep, he talked about, like, what would happen if we achieved the precious light of Kingdom Hearts, and his, like, journal entries talked about using Kingdom Hearts to create a new world. So, like,
Kingdom Hearts is closing on the other side.
the light of Kingdom Hearts
but we
and wanting
managed
to
to
create a
follow
new
our hearts
world
to
were
you.
established for, like, a long time still. Even if they did retcon major parts of his motivations, they did a better job of it than certain other franchises.
Master Xehanort.
I'm making it sound like I dislike Part 6 a lot more than I actually do. I mean, I'm trying not to spoil it, even though the manga's been out for years. It's just, I know a lot of people refuse to read the manga and just wait years at a time for the anime to come out. So I'm trying to be considerate of that. But chances are I'm just gonna have to cut around the stuff I'm saying right now when I upload this.
There's more to light than meets the eye. As I told you.
I think this cutscene is gonna
sly
mostly
fox.
be vanilla. Actually, I want to see the moment that Riku telepathically picks up the Keyblade. But after that, I'm gonna skip the cutscene and end off this stream. Also, Ventus
Now hand
Pog.
over the Keyblade, Xehanort. It is too late. For us, perhaps. But not for
I love how
them.
Ericus tells Xehanort, not for Riku and Riku. Ericus tells Xehanort to hand over the Keyblade, like me telling my cat to stop messing with my cords. No, put it down. Hand it over. This really is just me to my cat. Knock that off.
Enough. Checkmate.
I told you that you might be surprised.
Yeah, you got me.
Huh? Really?
Okay, my cat does
What?
this thing where she likes to
It's
jump
just
into my
you
bathtub
never admit it when you
and just
lose.
sit there for like hours
That's
at a
'cause I
time.
never lose.
And if I do this thing where I
Oh,
have
come
like
on.
the normal curtain and then the bath curtain, which is like transparent. If I draw the bath curtain and then look at her through it, she'll freaking lunge at me. The most recent time I did this, I got actually startled, because usually she'll give some type of warning, or she'll like meow or get close to the curtain before doing that. This time, just out of nowhere, I got freaking jump scared. She just lunged at me full force, no warning.
Huh? You think? But that doesn't mean that I can't be there for you.
Man, this final update better be freaking Dark Road the movie.
Yeah, and I'll be there for you.
Imagine if young Xehanort, like Dark Road, was part 1 of the series, and nowhere in part 1 did he mention wanting to access Kingdom Hearts. And imagine if this part ended with Sora just like dying and the world getting reset. And then Bora shows up and everyone's like, no, it's okay, Bora's here.
Very well done.
Now telepathically pick up that Keyblade. I will lose my mind if he actually— WHAT?! I'm still losing my mind because the Keyblade disappeared. I was about to say I'd lose my mind if he suddenly, like, gained the ability to move his joints. Like, move his limbs during cutscenes just for this one cutscene where he picked up the Keyblade.
Forgive your
But then he freaking erased the Keyblade with his mind. Sigma Riku really is the most powerful character in the franchise. He took one look at the Keyblade and it freaking vanished. Also, Ericus is like 7 feet tall. He towers over Terra, who's like 6'3".
And Aqua, I left you with such a heavy burden.
And they do have Ericus recognize his faults as a mentor.
Terra, look after them for me. Please.
And he does at least like recognize Terra as being competent by leaving him in charge of the others.
Here.
Because I think that was Terra's main problem, is that his master, it seemed to him like his master was always willing to see the faults in him rather than just like recognize him. So the second that someone with as much prestige and respect as his master showed up and was willing to just like give him praise for, like, tell him that he was good enough already, it was significant to him. Especially as like an emotional 19-year-old. Oh, okay, now he's holding the Keyblade. He made it reappear.
Sora, let's close it.
He's gonna miss again, isn't he? I love the meme of Sora, like, this being the first time he was officially bequeathed the Keyblade, and it's the freaking Keyblade by the main villain Xehanort shortly before he dies. This freaking guy. Okay, you shot it out of the wrong place, but at least you aimed it in the correct direction this time. Character progression. But yeah, I really don't hate Part 6, I swear. Again, I think it's above average. It's just like, has undeniable problems that, kind of drives me nuts to see people not acknowledge more. Especially when so many other franchises, people are so ready and willing to pick apart the flaws. And other parts of JoJo's where people are willing to pick apart the flaws. I guess the narrative around Part 6 is that it's quote-unquote underrated. Even though I'd argue it's rated exactly as it should be. But yeah, most of this was me ranting about part 6. Oh, wow, that's sick. I didn't know that was a thing. Or, well, I forgot it was a thing. Huh. Just ignore the voice crack that happened shortly after this moment. Xehanort, you suck! If you got what that was a reference to, then that was, like, funny, but if you didn't, which you probably didn't, that just sounded like the most, like, insane, like, psycho streamer thing. But whatever, on that note, that's where we're gonna end the stream today. Yeah, I probably should create a second channel just for, like, rant content. Because, I have a lot of things. I had this concern that, like, oh, what would I even talk about on a channel like that? A lot, judging by this video, like, this stream being 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and the majority of it being me ranting about things. I guess I could just turn the... Can you get out of my way so I can end stream? Jesus. The types of rants I do here into, like, videos. But yeah, that is the end of the main story. The next video will be the finale of the Riku Equinox playthrough, where I go through the Remind and, Limit Cut content. See you then.